Good evening, it's September 4th, 2025, and it's time for my devotionals. Won't you join me? In God's Purpose for Your Life. September 4th, Good or Evil. There is a way which seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Proverbs 16:25. Maybe today you are wondering why it is that God calls some behaviors and attitudes sin that feel so natural to you. This paradox goes back to the fall. If you recall, the Father instructed Adam and Eve not to eat from a certain tree in the Garden of Eden. We know they eventually disobeyed and ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, despite the Lord's command and warning, Genesis 3. What ensued was that Adam and Eve received a great deal of information that they were unequipped to handle without God's guidance. Good and evil were put on equal footing. Yes, there were certain actions that they knew to be immoral from the beginning, such as murder and stealing. But because their sin caused them to die spiritually, they lost the capacity to discern right from wrong, as they would have learned if they had allowed the Lord to teach them. This is why we sometimes don't realize that the ways we are filling our needs are actually causing us to feel emptier and more destitute. It takes a relationship with Christ to truly understand how to have those needs met. That is, what's God's will for us and what isn't. Jesus, please teach me to walk in your wisdom and freedom. Amen. And in trusting God with every breath. September 4th, Appetite. O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land where there is no water. Psalm 63:1 ESV. How is your appetite for God? What's on the menu? Gut-wrenching prayers? Pleas for change? Or have you been skipping meals, ignoring your appetite for God? Maybe you have a snack once in a while, whispering a prayer here and there. That's a sure way to lose the weight of God's influence, His blessings, and His peace. When your appetite for God is healthy, the body is strong, more easily resisting Satan's taunts. However, the opposite is also true. When we indulge in worldly gain, ignoring the meat of God, our bodies rarely resist the devil's temptations. Even worse, when those worldly gains eat up our time, it always becomes more and more and more, never really satisfying, and God becomes less and less and less. Where are you? Where do you fall on the menu of God? If you have fallen into a circle of poor diet, stop. Decide today that you'll have no more. Open the Psalms and begin again. Grab that pen and begin to journal all God has done for you. Pray earnestly, seeking the face of God and His will for you and your loved ones. And do it again the next day, and the next, and the next. Your strength will grow, and before you know it, you'll be craving God more than the world. Then, my friends, you'll know your appetite has changed for the better. How can you increase your appetite for God today? What are your next steps? When I'm hungry, I can tell you that I no longer question what my appetite is for, good or evil. It's for good. I hope you have a blessed day.